Slow. Here we go. All right. Okay, we're good to go.
Okay, all right, looks like we're going. So we'll start the working session with the citizens forum. I don't believe we have any requests.
Nope.
And then up next, under reports, we have board committees. We did have the school forest meeting. Which was lightly attended, but we talked about the timber sales at the school forest, and those are moving forward, and the DNR forestry office is providing the oversight on those, and so there should be actually progress this week on the timber sale at the school forest. And that was kind of the bulk of the discussion, I believe, isn't it?
Yep.
Any other board committee reports? Finance committee?
We did have the finance. Crystal, you want to do your budget at this time?
Yeah, sorry, I was warming up food. Yeah, we just kind of went over, and Jeff, did you email the budget report to the rest of the board members? Or you put it in the share, correct?
It's in the shared folder, but I can email it to all the board members.
No, that's fine. So when reviewing that right now, it's still, I just got the year-end journal entries this afternoon. So it's gonna be a little off still until that's completed. So I did that this afternoon. We're doing a close tonight. So come November or December's meeting, we will have more accurate numbers, as well as obviously the audit needs to be done on November 30th. But we are looking to get that done. We discussed that we are having adjustment to our building and land lease levy, which is the arena lease of $30,000 coming year. And that's due to UFAR's coding and how the state has changed how they look at that. Before you just had to report the numbers, and now they are actually comparing it to UFAR's, and we're supposed to be using a different object code, which we now know. And then we just discussed too that I did do the first initial draw of funds from the CRF funds, because we had to have 75% drawn down by November 13th. So I did complete that. I think that's about all we discussed.
Crystal,
Would you tell me what CRF stands for?
What is it? Coronavirus relief funds?
Yep.
Okay, and is that money, does that just go into the general ledger? Is that how that gets applied?
Yes. Yep. So basically, the things that I drew down on was some salaries and benefits for extra staffing that we did, and then a lot of the PPE products we needed, technology we needed to provide distance learning and hybrid. So that's what we use for those funds. But yeah, that just goes to the general fund.
And from an accounting standpoint, that's money that's already been spent. It's just being reimbursed to that general ledger now, right?
Correct. Yes,
Okay.
It's been spent. We're actually, well, after we got the CARES funding from the county, we're probably looking at about a $25,000 deficit still for all the COVID expenses as of now, but we don't know what more we're gonna have going forward.
Crystal, can you repeat the dollar amount for the arena? Maybe, I think you broke up a bit during that.
Did you say the arena one?
Yes.
It's gonna be like a $30,000 adjustment we're gonna have on our levy that we're gonna approve at the December meeting, which the overall levy amount itself is within like $1,000, like it's not changing that much, but we are gonna have that adjustment to the building land lease. And that's just due to coding, and which we now know that, which I talked to the auditors about, because it's an operating lease versus a capitalized lease. So we should be coding it to object 370. We can't.
And
use
that's an
about
error within the last 2 years, because prior to that, it was coded differently.
Well, no, prior to that, you didn't compare it to UFARs. Prior to that, you just went into the levy system and said, this is what we spent, this is what the operating costs were, and then they just calculated out the levy that way. Over the last 2 years, they switched it to, they're actually comparing it to the UFARs data, and the object code is supposed to be 370 if it's an operating lease versus a capitalized.
So it's an accounting change at the state then that caused this.
Correct, yes.
Okay. So it shouldn't be a problem to get that corrected, since we've been doing this for many years. And
Right, yes, that's correct.
Oh, okay, so it's something that,
it's an accounting error, how they are accounting for it. So
okay, so it would be change back for that proposal. Okay,
It actually was a change in process, right, Crystal?
Yes, like I spoke to the auditors about it too, because like last year that was one of the adjustments they had me make at year end, was to that. And at the time I didn't realize that they had versus what I done. So I spoke to them about it, and they just wanted to confirm that, yeah, it truly is an operating lease versus a capitalized lease, and that now going forward, we'll code it that way. But otherwise, I think that's everything we talked about at the finance meeting.
any other committee meetings?
We had a World's Best Workforce Committee meeting.
yep, and I think Mary, when she does her report, will go into details
Yeah.
with
With that, okay.
but yep, there was that World's Best Workforce Committee that to meet. Yep.
Okay. And then we will have a policy committee meeting next Monday. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can move on then?
Yep.
To superintendent report?
Okay. I apologize, I got my report sent out late, like earlier today. And even since then, I had to adjust a few things on it. So I'll go over it, but it is in the shared drive and I can email it out again. So the first thing I have to talk about is my evaluation. We're overdue. We were, according to the growth plan, we were going to do this in July of 2020, but we didn't get it done. So I'm proposing that between now and December 4th, I could do my self-evaluation and the board could do their evaluation ratings that we've done in the past. And then we need, excuse me, 2 board reps that would meet with me and they would compile the board members' ratings and meet with me to come up with final evaluation and growth plan. And if we could try to do that by December 9th, we could at least by December 14th have my evaluation and growth plan completed and at a formal board meeting. Thoughts on that? Is that pushing it too hard, or we can do it in the January? I think everyone has been through the process at least once as far as the rating scale and all that stuff, so it should go fairly quick.
I guess I say do it in December. We should be able to manage it.
Okay.
Agreed. I would be willing to be one of that assessment committee. I think I was last year, and that's why I'm offering it up again. I'm more than happy to do it if nobody else wants it.
Expo last year?
Yeah.
And it was Tim and Jeff.
It was Jeff Bertram last time.
Sure.
volunteer.
As long as you do it in December, sure, I'll do it.
You need two or three.
2 or 3, whatever, however you want to do it.
I'm fine not doing it too, so.
I can volunteer too if you want 3.
And all those are doing or assembling the results, I guess, so it's
Yep.
maybe just a
Yep.
2-person.
What I will do is,
And then they meet with Jeff.
Oh,
Yep.
then they meet, okay.
yep, what I do is I send out the blank form to all the board members, and then they return it to one of the representatives, and then they sit down together and kind of compile it and put it together. And then they schedule a meeting with me, and then we formulate my final evaluation and growth plan. So,
Go with 3,
I could go with 3, and then if someone can't make it.
okay.
okay,
So Tim, Jeff, and Robin.
Yeah, that makes sense. At least there's some continuity. I think 2 was adequate for a number, but we're going to have Jeff disappear on the first of the year. So it'd be nice to have somebody in on that process this time, just so it carries over, because we should be doing it every 6 months to some degree.
Yep.
Correct?
Okay,
yep,
sounds good. So you actually sent that up?
I sent out last year's evaluation growth plan, so you have a copy of what we came up with last year. So, not starting off very good. I've missed a couple deadlines with my own evaluations, so, oh well. Always room for growth. Yep, that's right. Enrollment report. Enrollment for the district is down 3. We're currently at 461. Elementary remains at 253. High school lost 3 students since October 1st. Safe learning plan update. As we all know, we continue to see increases in our COVID-19 cases in the county. Accumulated cases increased by 4 since last week. We're at 78. I think we're at 82, I believe, the last time I checked. Our 14-day COVID case rate per 10,000 was at 47.26. That's about 18 active cases. And this is up from 39.38 or 15 active cases. So last Thursday, we're up at 47.26. We're expecting this Thursday in the 50s, 52, 20 active cases for the 14-day look back. And that would be November 1st through the 14th. This last week, discussions with Kay, it was kind of, things started out slow. Cases from the last week have been flying in though. Today, she just sent me an update. There are now 13 cases from the week of November 8th through the 14th. The week of November 15th through November 21st, there's currently 11. We're estimating that our 2-week look back ending on the 21st will be at a 63 for Lake of the Woods County. And as I've reported in the past months, this county look back thing is just a gauge. It's just one number. There's lots of other things that we look at when we make decisions with our learning model. So we're still holding on with our current distance, or I'm sorry, in-person for elementary and hybrid for high school. And looking at where the cases are right now, we're hoping to hold on with that for the foreseeable future. But we're going to make a few adjustments, and based on the recommendation from local public health, we'll be excluding staff and students from school when they are exhibiting one of the less common symptoms and encourage them to seek health evaluations and testing. Less common symptoms include sore throat, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, chills, muscle pain, excessive fatigue, new onset of severe headache, new onset of nasal congestion or runny nose. This recommendation comes from MDH guidelines that recommends exclusion for one less common symptom when there are high levels of community spread. For these purposes, MDH defines high levels of community transmission as greater than 10 cases per 10,000. And obviously we're well above that. So as I indicated before, we've been in the 30s and 40s. We're going to start getting into our 50s for the upcoming weeks. So during this time of heightened number of cases and the rate we're increasing, that's a significant change that we'll be making immediately. So when staff or students show one of these less common symptoms, we're gonna treat it like the more common symptoms and ask that they exclude from school and get a secondary or a diagnosis or a test result. And that's just to add another layer of protection so we can keep the transmission away from the school building as much as possible so that we can continue with our current learning model. Moving on, I reported out last week that on November 18th, Governor Walz issued an emergency executive order 20-99. And that's impacting for the school, impacting our community ed classes, such as open swimming, adult swim. We've had to suspend those. The use of the weight room will be limited to PE classes. The same thing with the pool. If it's during the day and it involves the kids' educational program, we can provide it. But all after-school activities and events are suspended for the next 2 weeks. We're prohibiting, just for kicks, as an example, 4-H scouting groups, JU sports, anything like that will be prohibited. Basically, about the only thing we provide after 2:30 is we do some tutoring for some distance learners. We'll continue with those. Anything that's academic, student-based type thing like that will continue. But activities other than that will be prohibited till the end of the executive order. We will allow mental health services to continue. We do have providers in the building. If they need to, they can do their in-person appointments like they've been doing. But we're encouraging them to do remote as much as possible. So I feel that keeping our students in school is the best way to keep them safe and the best way to serve our community. We're better able to meet our social, emotional, academic needs when students are in person in the school building. And we better serve our community when students are in school and the parents are able to work and provide for their families. The current data shows that there is little spread that takes place in schools. And I believe it's because of our strict adherence to mitigation procedures that our school is still one of the safest places for children and staff. And I want to say thank you to all the staff for all their hard work in keeping this place safe. And thanks for local public health for working so closely with us. And that's all I have. Any questions?
And that goes until December 18th?
December 18th at 11:59. So
It's a 4-week.
it's 4 weeks. Yep. And hopefully things will turn around and the numbers we'll see an improvement with the case numbers and we can start bringing things back and dial things in a different direction. But I think doing more of the keeping kids and staff home when they're not feeling well, including those less common symptoms, is going to be an inconvenient, obviously, for everyone. If we have staff having to be out and kids having to be home, it's going to cause some strife in some areas, but I think it's the best way to maintain our current learning model. So that's my recommendation, is that we follow that more stricter guidance for that.
And just a question on that. So when kids are doing their health reports in the morning before coming to school, is there going to be a trigger so parents know not to bring them in, or how is that? How do you
We will just continue to send out public notices and we call the parents. Tiara calls the parents when the kids come in and they have a cough or a fever. Most parents are really good and staff. If someone's sick in the household, they keep everyone home. But every once in a while, we have a kid that comes down with something at school and we have to call the parents and we gather up all the siblings and we have them go home. And it is upsetting for some parents and it's frustrating and we understand that, but I think it's just the best thing that we can do. It's, it's what we have to do right now to keep the spread to a minimum in the school building, so.
Will you notice out this, using the less common symptoms? Are you gonna notice that out?
Yes, Kay and I just communicated a couple hours ago on all this and she's looking at where things are at currently. So I'll put a public notice out but I'm gonna have her read it first and get her approval, so. But that's the plan, I guess, moving forward for at least for the next 4 weeks and hopefully things can lighten up a little bit here.
So Jeff, I'm assuming that you plan on having something out before Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
So then that way we give everyone
I hope to have
when
something,
they resume school on the 30th,
yeah. I will have something posted
Mhm.
tomorrow by the
Yeah,
end of the day.
But you know what I
Yep.
mean, it's that, it's not that it won't go into effect before that. but
Yeah.
it'll-
One suggestion,
And-
Jeff,
Okay.
from people I've heard from, that we're not following our own guidelines, and I understand, and you and I have talked about stuff. My suggestion is change your guidelines and send them out.
Yeah, do you have a specific on what we haven't,
I think it was the one where the siblings.
siblings? Yep.
And stuff
If you
like
look at
that.
our safe
Yep.
learning plan, that has been updated. Yep,
Okay,
yep. And I did send out a couple public notices on that piece of it. And that's, I know that has caused problems, but I still fall back on, I think that's the best step to take. And that's kind of what we've agreed on with local public health. And so I think that's a good way to keep people safe at school. And I think it's the right thing to do. Not the easiest thing to do, but I think it's the right thing to do at this time. And then.
Yeah, when you get
Go
the
ahead.
chance to go out there and be public with it, whether it is on the radio or, in a missive you might send out from your office, we're in a pretty unique situation at the moment anyway. The communities around us are really struggling, obviously, to keep the kids in school at this point. We've sort of been a little bit of a light in the middle of all that mess. And maybe you continue to let the community know each time you put something out that they are actually doing something productive. They're the reason that we are still allowing kids to go to school, and maybe they buy into it. Now, I know that's not 100%, embraced, obviously, with the rules, and there are people who are unhappy, but if they understand that they are actually making a positive difference to what's going on right now, that they might be more inclined to keep it going that way.
Yep.
Because like you said, with the staff and it's just been done really well. And I just want the community, hopefully they understand that they're doing the right thing, whatever it is, but our numbers have stayed low because of stuff they're doing.
Mary?
This morning was my turn on the radio and at 7:30, and I did make comment about that we are so fortunate because of the steps that are in place that our kids still can be in school, elementary every day and high school every other day. So thanks for mentioning that, Tim. And I guess I got lucky by saying something this morning.
Thank you. And I just have a couple other reminders. Next month meeting is basically in 2 weeks. It's early. It's December 14th because of the vacation. And we'll also be having our truth and taxation hearing that night as well, and the auditors. Any other reminders for that December meeting that I'm forgetting? Did I get everything, Danny? All right, good. That's all I have unless there's any questions or anything from the board.
I'll just do my usual for Mary, checking in to see attendance. Are we improving? Things going better? It sure seems to me like the Zoom classes are making everything more seamless and everything else. And just wanted to check in with you on that.
I will say that definitely has been an improvement, and I'm glad parents, I had one parent stop in and I've had a couple calls, so I'm glad they're calling and questioning. Like one was worried that, they're unexcused absence, and I said, nope, as long as they're in and Zooming with their teacher, they're gonna be fine. So yeah, all of that has helped immensely, and I will say that when Tracy was, working from home, I let her have the school phone that I had, because quite frankly, you guys, I wasn't using it. Anyway, that has been a godsend to improve communication with parents, because she will get a hold of them or leave messages and they will text her back. So it has helped immensely with parents communicating, and it's even if kids are staying home because they have some of the symptoms. So yeah, the phone has been wonderful, and I'm going to let her keep it because it has so helped our communication with parents.
I know our administration and everybody, you guys all work well together. I was just curious if you guys have brainstormed anything else in the process or come up with anything. Again, I'm mainly looking at kind of the high school, but elementary as well. Got anything in the works?
Like, are you referring to distance learning or what?
No, just like more technology or something, or using it's different, or getting more teachers on Zoom or anything like that.
Tomorrow, Wednesday will be another PLC, and quite frankly, our previous one, we were talking about student progress and some other things getting lined up for conferences using technology to do the Zoom. So tomorrow, Wednesday will be the next time our PLC groups, and that's the focus for high school, is to improve student achievement through use of technology. So that'll be the next time they meet in their 3 different groups to work on that and tweak it some more.
Okay.
So in December, I will give you an update on what they've added, okay?
Here's a question. I mentioned that I talked with Brian Novak today, and we talked a little bit about one of the last things he presented at a working session was the weighted grading system on for those college classes. And can anybody fill us in where we left off on that? I can't remember where we did. I know he presented it as far as waiting a little bit more for those AP classes and college classes. Does anybody remember where we ended up with that? It would have been
Well,
June
I can
meeting.
actually speak to that, because when I started, it was pulled from the board meeting, because I honestly didn't have enough background or anything and understand any parts of it. So what has happened since then is I have met with the teachers. All the high school teachers, quite frankly, weren't aware of it. So I have shared that document with them. Any of them who wants to be part of that committee, so we get it worded, the way that we think will be the best for our students and everyone. So it will be coming to the board. We will be meeting as a high school committee to continue to move forward with it.
Thank you, Mary. Good job.
Absolutely.
Okay, just a second, we got a couple chat.
Okay, Dana reminded me, the oath for those that are reelected and for our new member needs to take place at the December 14th meeting. And that's to meet the 30-day time limit for taking that oath. So we'll have to 30 days for when she sends the certification letter or whatever that letter is. Once they receive that, it has to be done within 30
Okay,
days.
so Carla will be invited to that?
Yeah.
Okay,
And then we'll approve the levy as well at December.
okay.
Thanks, Danny.
Does anybody have a cell phone for her? I tried to contact her. I just wanted to just touch base with her, and I wasn't able to find a contact number. If somebody has that, if they could text that to me, I would be greatly appreciated.
So Jeff, I just want to make sure we wrapped up your
Yep.
portion, and then we sort of moved on to
Segued into.
Mary's report. But Mary, if we could maybe get back on track with the high school update and your topics, if you have anything else, I guess. Maybe she can't. Mary, can you hear me?
Okay, yes and no. Okay, I'm up.
Yes.
Okay, quarter one grades progress reports went home. Those were sent electronically. I have sent out letters to all the parents whose students had an F. You know, I will say when I shared that with the high school teachers, when you looked at the list, it's much longer than we wanted it. But the good news of it is it was cut in half from where we were at mid-quarter. So the reaching out to students and parents is doing some good. We just need to keep plugging away at that, and we will. I have also completed and are getting letters sent out. The letters are already, Tracy's working on the mailing of them for me, of any students who are behind in credits. And this would lead from last spring or last school year. So sophomores, juniors, and seniors, those letters are going out so we can get them connected with Acellus to get those credits made up. So our goal would be that those credits that they missed out on, we really would be able to end the school year with everybody being on track, getting the credit recovery taken care of. Parent-teacher conferences, I'm going to say are going well. Teachers have scheduled them dates outside of the 19th and 24th. Couple glitches with technology, realizing they needed passwords and things, but that's all been worked out. So they will continue to do Zoom meetings with parents. And even if it's not via Zoom meeting, the goal is that every teacher will have made contact with every parent, whether it's email, phone call, or a Zoom meeting, so that we get that connection with them. I am very excited to say we have offered the science position to Courtney Bordelon, and pending board approval, she will be our new science teacher. So Amy Keeman will segue to being a 6th grade teacher. And Matt Grover was on the interview process with me. Courtney, very, very, very solid science background. Very excited to be coming up our way. She will start out with tier 1. Her degrees are science degree undergrad, and then she's finishing a master's degree in biology. So it'll start out tier 1, and then she'll work towards tier 4 licensure. We have the opportunity to bring a CNA class into the building for our students. So we'll be looking at second semester. And this is something that'll come to the December board meeting for approval. So tonight's just information for you. I have met with Christina Draper, and they are, we'll be able to have a room for them. And the class is going to start at 2:30. So it won't interfere with any of our current classes. So this will be one of the benefits of hybrid. Kids will be able to really take an extra class, those that want to get that CNA component. So wonderful benefit that they're coming into our building. And last week, Katie Hasbargen received a email from someone from Northwest Tech College, and we are going to be able to offer to our students an online HVAC course, which you wonder, how can you do that online? Well, they are going to provide a toolbox for the kids. So the hands-on materials, they will be able to have those at school and do the hands-on component and do the coursework part of it online. So we're looking at that for second semester, another elective option for our students. The ACT Aspire testing has been completed for grades 8, 9, 10, and 11. I'm going to give a shout out to Jeff Burcham and Gretchen. They have volunteered to work with me to connect with our seniors to do some checking on where they are with college applications, looking at FAFSA. You know, we can't send the kids to look at the college, or take them, I should say. They could go on their own, you know, to check out colleges. But virtual is an option for them, and no one has come to me to ask me about it. So we are going to be seeking the students out to let them know we will set it up virtually for them. They don't have to necessarily do all this on their own. And right now, well, I have to give credit to Mrs. Tangy, and I'm losing thought, Jeff, on who the other person was, but Jeff and I last week about the video. Do you remember who that was, Jeff? Well, anyway, two of our high school teachers, and we've handed it over to Brian Sather because we have new video equipment that we've received. And we are working on a I'm Thankful For video that will be elementary, high school staff throughout the district that we want to get on our website and send out just right before Thanksgiving break. So that is something we're working on. And then the World's Best Workforce and our Achievement and Integration Summary, that has been completed. I want to thank all the people who are on that committee. There aren't many schools, you guys, that are able to have as many parents and even a student on that committee. So I am very grateful for the variety of people we have on there and the voices. One thing with the summary this year, we don't have any test results from MCAs last year because they weren't held. And so we, as a committee, decided we are just going to take those same goals and carry them over to this coming year for the 2021. A couple components that we did complete that we have the data for involve the high school. One of those has to do with graduation rates and that increasing, and that did happen. And the other one has to do with the personal learning plan that every student needs to have to show that they're college and career ready. And our goal is 100%, and we met 100%. We will continue to do so. That we have great support from the staff to make sure all the kids get those plans in place. So that is where we sit with that. The achievement and integration component of it, working with Cynthia Sealander at Kellier for the field trips that our kids took last year. So we couldn't do the ones in the spring. So basically that was more just an explanation of what we did attend, what the kids did attend and where we were. And this year, Cynthia and I have spoken a couple times and looking at trying to do something virtually. We haven't done anything yet, but we are communicating to see what we can try and get set up for our kids virtually for that component. So that is going for board approval tonight. So excited that we got that big piece done. And that's all I have. Any questions, anybody?
It was Diana Hazelton was the other person.
Oh, thank you, Jeff.
Took me a while to rattle that one out, but.
Anything else for Mary? It's exciting to hear about the HVAC course and the CMA course potential there. That's good to hear. We can move on to the business office and Crystal. You had the monthly budget report and then the transfer of the CARES Act money from Lake of the Woods County.
I guess I kind of touched base on it, but yeah, we did receive 50,000 from Lake of the Woods County through the CARES funding as well. And we did actually truly receive that check. I think it was like 2 weeks ago now. So that's all I have.
All right, thanks. Next up is Activities Director, Chad Hazelton.
Well, I know that I don't know a whole lot. All activities down for the next 4 weeks. Tomorrow, there's a State High School League lead meeting at around 11 o'clock. So I'll hopefully get a little bit more information after then. Best case scenario is we can start practice that week over break. We'd have to get a minimum of 8 days of practice in, more than likely. And then the second week in January, be able to start competitions. That'd be best case scenario in my mind as far as what I've heard. Other than that, it's pretty much just in a holding pattern until we find out exactly what the governor's going to do and what the high school league's going to let us do, and moving forward that way.
Okay, any questions for Chad? Next up, we've got buildings and grounds with Seth.
Seth is not able to be with us. I got an email. He's covering for someone, and he's over in the high school doing custodial duties right now, so he will not make it tonight. So, and I don't have any information to add as far as the AEDs or the touchless hand sanitizers. I have not had a chance to connect on those items.
I know that the 3 AEDs are located in the nurse's office. So those are here and available.
Okay, so we did get them in now.
Yes.
Okay.
Are they gonna they're not gonna keep them in the nurse's office, are they?
They're going to be available for checkout for the coaches on trips mainly.
Okay.
Was one of the main reasons why we got them. The other ones are placed where they are, but the nurse's office will be the central location to check them out.
And then community ed and transportation.
And I don't have anything from Mr. Cole.
Okay. And last up, food service with
And I-
CC.
I don't have anything from CC. I don't believe there's anything.
Okay. All right, anything on the regular agenda that we should? While we have-
Is there any questions or clarification on any of the agenda items? I guess we are asking for the hires of Joyce Claypool and Chris Berthume as long-term substitutes. And we've been keeping them pretty busy already, as it has been. Part of that salary is budgeted within we budget $65,000 a year for substitute cost. Granted, that's not going to be enough just because of the nature of COVID and staff having to stay home and stuff like that. So part of that is budgeted already, and we'll use some of our CARES dollars as well to pay for that. But that's basically part of our 25,000 deficit that we're going to be looking at here is probably part of this substitute cost that we have, along with other purchases. But I don't know how else to get through the next few months of school without having staff available to cover when people have to stay home for isolation or what have you. So I just think that's something we need to have.
So this is, if we deficit spend, then we can continue to keep our kids in school.
Yes. Yep.
That's kind of a-
Yep, and part of that deficit is we added a couple of classroom teachers, primarily like in the second grade, we made that into a 3 section. So these are the things we have to do to keep kids in the building, and I think it's something that the board felt at the beginning that we were going to have to deficit spend to keep the wheels on the bus, and we'll get through the year and figure out. So we still have a fund balance, so it's not like we're SOD'd. or anything like that. Yeah, we're not in statutory operating debt yet. But we will be under that 25% fund balance, even more, so.
And there is.
And we gave
discussion-
away $28,000 to the wealthiest private business in town. Once again, letting
Well,
everyone.
you only can count the first 5,000 for the current fiscal year, and that won't be in effect for this year either, so.
And there is talk of additional funding. I know I listened to the governor's conference with school board, MSBA, and.
I do too.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's a lot of districts, they're looking at holding districts harmless for lost revenue for students due to COVID going to online learning and the drop in enrollment. I think we have probably 5 or 6 students off the top of my head that went to a homeschool online learning. So that's lost revenue. That's probably $50,000-$60,000 in lost revenue just for that reason. So hopefully the legislature will at least hold districts harmless for that aspect. I don't anticipate a flush state budget either. They're going to have some budget difficulties as well. So it'll be a challenge here in the next couple of years to kind of recover from this, but we'll get through it.
Crystal, do you get property tax estimates from the county like this time of year? Like I just had in the mail my estimated taxes for next year for the property, and I'm just curious if they give you a heads up as to what to expect.
Like as far as like what the school district would be receiving based
Yes.
on it?
Yep.
I don't get anything no from them. I'm sure I could.
Might be worthwhile to reach out to them just so you're not surprised when it comes down to it. I don't know if a lot of places went up, down, stayed the same or anything else, but might be something to look into.
Correct.
So we're not surprised.
No, I could definitely reach out to her and just see if there's a way they could give a potential estimate as far as that goes. Yeah, I'll do that.
Well, I see mine went up, and it's probably because of the market value went up on my property, but I did notice it went up a little bit, so I don't know if I'm the trend. One other thing I can add is the resolution 2020-2021-014 to establish combined polling places for 2021. Now, there's a correction on page 74 of your packet. The resolution on combined polling places. The date should read November 11th, 2020 for an election on February 9th, 2021. So we have that correction. Was there another one, or is that it for corrections? I think that was it. Thanks for catching that one.
Okay, any other questions on tonight's agenda or anything that we've covered so far?
I got a question for Chad. Are you still around?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, so in this meeting tomorrow, I'm assuming they'll address what the sort of how you're going to compensate for the lack of activities with these kids. And I'm thinking specifically the high school kids, who've committed a lot of their physical and free time to things like football or volleyball or hockey or whatever it is they're doing. Do you get a sense that there's going to be somebody offering up some sort of response to that? Like, are there some in-school activities we can do that might make up for something like that? They're allowing things, for instance, like gym classes, which, you could throw a parallel out there, a gym class versus a group of kids on the football field. But are there activities that we can offer under the school umbrella that would maybe offer some of that activity level up?
Can I speak to that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, Mr. Sather has an online app and program he's using, and he is reaching out to our, I don't even want to just say athletes, I want to say all of our students. So there are things that they can be doing at home. And actually one of the kids shared it with me, some of the progress he was making on it. So, you know, we want to keep our kids as in shape as possible. And when you think about our older students who don't have Phi Ed classes anymore, so there is a program, if they connect with what he has going on, they will be able to continue to stay physically active at home, and not just so much physically active, but also to be doing weight bearing activities and things, so that, yeah, when we can start in again, our kids should be in the best shape they can be, considering everything.
And to answer if there's going to be anything addressed at that meeting tomorrow, probably not. It's probably going to be more logistical type information, potential for starting, giving coaches the official go ahead to be able to communicate virtually and do virtual workouts and stuff with the athletes. There's nothing in person. So that's going to be more what that meeting's about. I don't think we're going to have anything specific until the return to play task force has a chance to meet again. And I don't know when their next scheduled meeting is.
Well, it's not very often that we have to struggle to keep a conversation going on.
Just so I'm clear too on the superintendent evaluation and growth plan. Next steps for that is that you'll be sending something out to us.
Yes, I will send out the form, the blank form that we've used before as far as the rating scale. I don't have it in front of me. And I will send the draft that we did last October, so that you know exactly what my goals were and the steps. And what I do is I will sit down and summarize areas. These are the things I did to meet that goal. These are the things I failed to do. So you'll have that information, and then there's that rating scale that we've used in the past, that board members will be asked to provide a scale rating and stuff like that. And then that will be collected by Tim, Robin, and Jeff. And then they'll set up a meeting with me when they get it compiled. And
A pretty quick turnaround time for us to get all
yes,
this.
I will try to get all the stuff that the board has to do to you before Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, last time, Jeff, we physically collected them, at the front office, and I guess we could do that again if it's convenient
Yep.
for everybody. And you were talking about trying to get that done by the 4th of December, which I would appreciate, just because it would be good if before the 9th, the three of us and you got together, and just let's get on that timetable, and you can start throwing dates out for that somewhere between the 4th and 9th here pretty quick.
Yep. So I will have Danny be the collection person. So if you want to send it electronically, she can compile it, or if you drop it off or want to mail it paper pencil, I'll have her be the collection person. And when she has everyone's, then she'll get a hold of one of the three, whoever, probably give it to Tim, and then Tim can coordinate with the other two and we'll go from there.
Yeah, I think what I did last time, Jeff, was we assessed. I went through numerically, got averages, got totals, that type of thing. And then Jeff Burcham and I talked about it we got together half an hour before our meeting with you, if I remember, just to discuss those implications. And we can do that the same way too. Same day, just get in there a little earlier than you and come together on it.
Yep, sounds good.
Well, we can probably adjourn the working session and get it set up here for our regular meeting. I'm going to call the meeting to order, 7 p.m. And we'll stand to say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I am looking for a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion.
Excuse me, just to clarify that it's the agenda is presented with the addition of Courtney Bordelon, high school science teacher. Robin, make that motion. Okay, need a second?
I'll second it.
A second by Jeff. Any discussion? Okay, call for a vote. Ellis. Aye. Johnson.
Aye.
Trask, aye. Sonstigaard.
Aye.
Lyon.
Aye.
Burcham.
Aye.
Motion passes. Looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda, which includes approval of minutes, approval of invoices and statements, and approval of personnel appointments. Megan Mullen, paraprofessional, Joyce Claypole, long-term substitute, or teacher substitute, Chris Berthum, long-term para substitute, and Courtney Bordelon, high school science teacher.
Motion by Johnson.
Second by Burcham.
Motion by Johnson, second by Burcham. Any discussion? Call for a vote. Ellis. Aye. Johnson.
Aye.
Trask. Aye. Sonstigaard.
Aye.
Lyon.
Aye.
Burcham.
Aye.
Motion passes. Any board presenters? Okay, no, none. Written communications. On the agenda, we have the Joint Powers Board election.
The deadline to file is tomorrow, so if you really want to get on the Joint Powers Committee, let us know and we can get that submitted to Region. Any takers?
Okay, well, if you are interested, let Jeff know by tomorrow morning.
Yep.
Okay. And then next up is the MSBA Annual Leadership Conference.
And I don't remember the dates on it, but it's a virtual Zoom type conference. And also do they have the phase 1 training for new board members on that? Do you recall, Danny?
She's
That
working.
one, Carla is scheduled to do it on like December 9th, I think.
Okay.
These were in January, the leadership conference.
Yeah.
Don't they usually offer those at that, isn't that the one that I know?
Yeah,
I think they offer that the day, like a pre-conference thing.
yeah.
Looks like it's maybe separate this time.
Oh, okay.
Because it's all virtual, I think it's
Yeah.
different. So if you're interested, contact Danny and she can get you registered and get you the information for it.
And that registration closes January 6th. Next on the agenda is old business. No old business.
No.
Okay. And we have new business, adoption of resolution 2020/2021-014 to establish combined polling places for 2021. And that was what was presented in the packet, except for with the changes to the range of dates.
Yep.
We're looking for a motion to adopt that resolution.
I'll make that motion.
Alice,
I'll second.
second by Sonstagard. Any discussion?
It's something we have to do every year by December 31st. And that's if we need to have a special election to fill one of our board. It saves us a lot of money and time if we have this resolution. Otherwise, you have to make it very difficult to run a special election.
All right, I guess I'll call for a vote. Ellis,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Trask, aye. Sonstagard,
Aye.
Lyon,
Aye.
Bertram,
I,
motion passes. And we have next on the agenda, the lease agreement with Treehouse Tots Daycare, replacing Little Explorers Daycare.
I would make a motion to approve that lease.
I'll second.
Motion by Lyon with a second by Sonstagard. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote. Ellis,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Trask, aye. Sonstagard,
Aye.
Lyon,
Aye.
Bertram.
I,
Motion passes. Next, we have an adoption of resolution 2020/2021-015, authorizing issuance of certificates of election and directing school district clerk to perform other election-related duties.
Motion by Johnson.
Second by Lyon.
Johnson and Lyon. Any discussion? So we'll be doing our oath of office at the December
Mhm.
meeting.
Yep.
And if somebody's unable to attend the December meeting, they need to make sure to make other arrangements?
I'll look into that. Yeah.
Okay. Jeff will get back to you on
Yes.
that. Okay. All right.
Hopefully everyone will be there on the 14th.
Yes. All right. If there's nothing else, we'll call for a vote. Ellis,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Trask, aye. Sandsgaard,
Aye.
Lyon,
Aye.
Bertram.
Aye.
Just a follow-up question on that. Can we do the oath of office?
Virtually?
remotely?
Yes,
Yes,
I'm sure you can.
okay.
It does have to be notarized.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Thinking it has to be in person.
We will look into that and make sure we get confirmation on in person and virtual.
Well, we'll have a notary at the meeting. Does the notary have to be in person or if they visually see it?
I don't know.
All right, we'll check with MSBA on the ins and outs.
That's kind of what you're doing. You're notarizing that person is the actual person signing, I believe.
And having a visual.
Yeah.
There's gotta be a way around it with the scope and stuff, so we'll figure it out.
Okay. And then we have approval of the 2019-2020 World's Best Workforce Plan. Looking for a motion for that approval.
I'll make that motion.
Second by Lyon.
Okay, motion by Ellis with a second by Lyon. Any discussion? Sounds like there was some good committee work on this, so thank you for that.
And thanks for Mary for taking that over. I will add, if it's okay, I've kind of delegated the world's best workforce and achievement and integration to Mary, along with some of the curriculum work, so,
Good to hear.
yeah.
Thank you, Mary.
Yeah. Thank you, Mary.
Welcome, everybody. No problem.
Okay, call for a vote. Ellis,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Trask, aye. Sandsgaard,
Aye.
Lyon,
Aye.
Bertram.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Any other business for this evening? Okay, I guess we will adjourn the meeting at 7:11. Thank you, everyone.
Mary, it looks good for that meeting, the Zoom meeting tomorrow, 1 o'clock.
Oh.
We'll see you then.
Wonderful. Sounds good. Thanks. Good night,
Okay.
everyone.